and welcome to the LGBTQ review, where every week we look at some LGBTQIA+ content. This week we're looking at To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newman.
Let's give it to him, girls.
Meet Vida Bohème.
Enchanté. Why are you crying? Maybe she just found out Menudo broke up.
Miss Noxzema Jackson.
Jesse's daughter.
And their protege, Chichi Rodriguez.
I'm the Latino Marilyn Monroe. I got more legs than a bucket of chicken.
They were headed for Hollywood.
Think of it as Easy Rider in dresses.
On a sacred mission.
Let's take this message from Miss Newmar with us across the land.
Going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the year. So bring your...
To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newman is the 1995 American comedy film about three drag queens travelling from New York to Los Angeles for the drag queen competition of America or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. And they have to stop in a rural town because the car breaks down.
It's weird. It's like half road movie that kind of stops, and then they're in this like small town and they kind of help everyone with their problems, which I quite liked. I like that more so than the road movie stuff, which I didn't think was that interesting.
These movies are a bit annoying that it takes a man dressed as a woman to go to a town and teach the women how to be women again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've not thought about it like that.
I suppose it's fine. They're gay men and they're very oppressed. But it does feel a bit weird.
There's a trope, a film trope. Is it like Traveling Angel or something? Essentially, like people come into town and help people with their problems and then go away again. Viewed as like them coming into town and helping like repressed people with their like problems, I didn't mind. But yeah, when you put it in that context, it does seem ridiculous. Also, like Wesley Snipes' character in the cast, he like defines drag queens as only being gay men as well, which isn't strictly true. Everywhere I saw on the internet, they just call it a comedy. I think it's definitely a comedy drama, especially when you have all that domestic abuse in there, because like the film doesn't play it for laughs. So it's weird I like that they had it in there, but I don't know why it's just called a comedy.
I think it was just a hard sell when it came out, so they didn't know how to market it. The director is the Right Honourable Baroness Kidron, OBE, who's a British filmmaker and campaigner. Yeah, she's best known for directing the queer classic Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. It was a film adaptation, but they've made it into a TV mini-series of Jeanette Winterson's autobiography of the same name. And yeah, Bridget Jones' Edge of Reason.
The only other thing about the director that I had written down was that she gave birth to her child on like the last day of shooting.
Oh.
Which means that obviously she was pregnant throughout this, which must be so stressful.
So yeah, they approached loads of different directors for the film, and all the male directors said no. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit had just come out in the US, so they asked BB and she immediately said yes. I think how it was made is quite interesting. Mitch Cohn really wanted the script at the studio. He worked at Steven Spielberg's studio. I can't remember what it's called. And the lawyers wouldn't send it to the studio because they were scared and didn't think anybody should make it. And he finally got it and he sent it to Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg thought, yeah, this is really funny, but to check, I'll have to send it to Robin Williams. So he sent it to Robin Williams, and Robin Williams was like, yes, this is very funny, you must make this movie. And then they made it. Everybody was like, this is a terrible idea, you can't do this. And as they were making it, so many people at the company came out. There was women that had like just photographs of Dennis Quaid posted everywhere and were constantly like objectifying men. And suddenly they were like, yeah, no, actually I'm a lesbian and I've been with the same woman for 40 years. He never worked in studio films ever again because it was like not very successful. And then he thought, I'll just go and do something worthwhile, and became a teacher.
That was quite a story. That's weird about the directors. From what I read about the actors, they're clamouring to get the role. So Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo immediately said yes, and then there was lots and lots of auditions for the third role, which...
Well, Chi was written for John Leguizamo because he did drag all the time. Loads of his characters from his stand-up and stuff. Well, basically, they're Chi.
I didn't need that. All this responsibility, it never stops.
And then Patrick Swayze was like one of the last people to audition for it, and there was lots of Hollywood names that auditioned for his part. I was going to say, did you write a list down?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., Gary Oldman, Matthew Broderick, John Cusack, Mel Gibson, William Dafoe, Rob Lowe, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, and Robin Williams. Although I also read in the article about the studio thing that Robin Williams really wanted to play it, but didn't put himself up because he was too hairy.
He does make a cameo in the film, which is nice. I enjoyed that. Also, though, I did read that Gary Oldman said that he didn't want to do it because he had just done a Dracula, which was like all the makeup and prosthetics.
I did see an interview with Patrick Swayze. He said that this was his like most interesting role. He really wanted to do it, and he really wanted to get it right, because if he got it wrong, it would be so catastrophically terrible.
Do you think he got it right? What do you think of their performances, the three of them?
Yeah, I really like them. Sometimes I don't understand Wesley Snipes' performance, but I don't think that's his fault. I think that's the least rounded character.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think, well, I'll just say quickly, I thought all the performances were like amazing, especially Wesley Snipes. Just has nothing to do in this film.
The cast is really great. Blythe Danner again. We just saw her in Hearts Beat Loud. Now she's in this. It's nice to see her doing like 1 minute more.
Mm-hmm.
Still not a lot, but yeah. And then Stockard Channing. It's always been in the back of my mind, but I have such a massive crush on Stockard Channing.
RuPaul makes an appearance. It's so bad, but I did enjoy their drag name in this, which was, did you catch it?
What, racial tension?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening properly because I could see the dress. And I was like, oh no. I actually started listening and heard the name and I was like, oh, okay.
Should we talk about Priscilla a tiny bit? Just because this gets compared to Priscilla Locke, they come out at the same time. Anywhere you read about this, it's like brought up like this happened at the same time. And the premise of it, I guess, is similar, but because it takes such a left turn when they get to this little town.
They're very similar movies. I think the reason that Priscilla did so well in America from Australia, and then this To Wong Foo didn't do very well, is because Americans because that's in Australia and that's quite far away, whereas in America the films about gay people that wider audiences were consuming were all like cry about how sad the life of this gay man is, isn't it terrible? Whereas this film was like 3 happy, healthy, strong gay men, and people are like, no. I don't want to see that, because they in real life still have such a disdain for gay people.
Well, I would say as well, which is interesting if you're comparing the two, is that they never take off their drag in this. You see Patrick Swayze, the wig gets caught a tiny bit in that one scene.
At the beginning, he starts without drag.
Yeah, he's putting on. But apart from that, you never see, they're only those characters. You never see like an alter ego, as it were, which is really good, actually. I really enjoyed that. I haven't got many more notes, I don't think. Do you have anything?
I've got a couple, but they're all things I thought about, so they're mostly Stockard Channing. The bit where she's like, well, we should just get rid of all men. Well, not Mel Gibson. And you're like, oh God, this hasn't aged well. And then she's like, well, okay, he can stay, but he can't speak or think. And you're like, well, yeah, that solves that problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was weird. Obviously, hearing the phrase, not all men.
Also, the list of men that she wants to keep, if you disregard Mel Gibson, is a very good list. Like Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington, Mr. Rogers. Great list.
Oh, speaking of lists, the cop has like the most ridiculous...
I quite like that.
What's it called? Like
where gay people might be, yeah. I did quite like that. Flower shops, ballet class. Which is wrong, because like lesbians, they're the ones that own flower shops. Everybody knows that. I did not like the change absolutely everything about yourself to get the man that you want bit. That bit was absolutely awful.
Yeah, I thought that was going to go a completely different way, where she realizes that she doesn't really want him, especially after like she's his second choice, and they never address that.
At the beginning, she's like, I want to be a career girl, but first I want to get the boy of my dreams, and then I'll focus on being a career girl. Like, it's the 90s, and you've got those two things the wrong way around. Diane Keaton is spinning in her suit somewhere.
Did you enjoy the Bewitched nose thing?
I loved it so much that, spoiler alert, it's my rating. Yeah, I was really into Bewitched in the 90s. The TV show and the band. My last thought about it, when it had finished, is that it's basically a love story between Stockard Channing's character and Patrick Swayze's character, and it's so good. It's like a big romantic friendship, and I love it a lot.
Yeah, I thought at the end, I was like, oh, I wish they had played even more into that. I wish they got to the town quicker. I'll give it 3.9 red wedding dresses.
I will give it 4.2 references to Bewitched. Cool. So if you like this, and subscribe to get our videos on LGBTQIA+ content. And you can follow us on Twitter at LGBTQ_review.